in this live Q&A, I'm going to be answering all your Amazon FBA questions. So if you have any questions about Amazon FBA at any point, just throw them in the chat. And on top of that, I'll be answering them live. I also have some of the most frequently asked questions here. So questions I'll answer include things like how much money you need, how much time you need on Amazon, all the different Amazon FBA frequently asked questions. How long will it take? How much can you make off of Amazon? How do I know if my product will sell? Any question you might have on Amazon, but obviously you might have a question that I have not answered in this like little PowerPoint that I presented. So at any point, feel free to leave it in the chat and I'll get to you. So one of the most common questions I get is how much money do you need to sell on Amazon? And it's important to know that there are 4 different business models, more or less, with Amazon. And for each different business model, there is a different amount of money that it costs to start selling on Amazon. So retail arbitrage, it's going to cost you about $200. Wholesale is going to cost you about $2,700. Private label to start is going to cost around $3,500. And I'm going to break down how I came up with these numbers later in this video. And then creating your own product is the last business model. And that's what I recommend. This is what I love doing. I'm super passionate about this. And you can do it for $0. Like even if you have $0 in the bank, and I'll talk about how you can do that later. And let's break down some of the fees really quick. I'm going to go into more detail about this later, but typical private label, you're going to have all these different fees. You're going to have your Amazon fee, which is about $40, design, $150, samples, inventory, air shipping, photos, DBA, UPC codes, and just other costs. And like I said, I'm going to go into way more detail later. It's going to be about $3,500. There's also optional fees, like an Amazon FBA course, research tools, a bond. If you want to ship from China over to the US, there's about a $400 bond. And then freight forwarder, if you want to hire one of those, again, optional trademark, optional lawyer. Amazon PPC, if you are going to be doing private labeling, you may want to consider doing PPC to get your product sales up. Probably going to want around $1,000 for that and another $300 for product giveaways. About $4,000 in optional things. Now, most of these I wouldn't recommend. I definitely wouldn't recommend getting a lawyer. You don't need a bond or a freight forwarder if you're just starting off. You don't really need a course or research tools. But I will talk about how you can get a course for free. So let's jump ahead here. So yeah, I do want to mention before I get any further along in this that I do have a Amazon FBA course it's free. Basically, the way it works is it's a refundable deposit. You put in a deposit, which tells me that you're serious, tells me that you're actually going to follow through, complete the course. And once you follow through, once you complete the course and you launch a product using my method, I give you your deposit back. And you can pay whatever you want for the course. So if you say whatever you think the course is worth. So after you launch a product, if you say, you know what, that course is only worth $500, I'll give you $500 back. If you say, you know what, that course wasn't worth anything, I'll give you all your money back. So there's only 5 spots left for my course. It closes tonight at midnight, or actually I think there's only 4 spots left. I think this is outdated. There's only 4 spots left. So whenever those spots fill up or at midnight tonight, no matter what, my course is going to be full. So let's get in. I see some questions on the sidebar here. So let me go over there and I'll zoom myself out. Start answering some of the questions live that we have. Let's see. Is the stream working for everybody? I can't tell on my end if it's working or not. I'm hoping for everybody out there it's working. If you can just give me a yes that the stream is working, let me know. But so one of the first questions I got are, what new product is trending, and do you have an idea of your next product to sell? Yeah, so first off, I think the products that are trending I would not think about it just like that. Look at what products look at what trends there are in life. For instance, I see in my life plant-based. There was a recent documentary that came out talking about like the vegan diet. Whether you believe in that or not is up to you, but I think that's going to be a trend moving forward. What other trends are there? So I'm not a big person on like following the trends. What I recommend doing is finding a product that you wish existed and creating that product. So let's see. So inspection fees at the facility in China. Someone asked about different inspection fees at the facility in China. You know what? To be honest with you, I think that's going to cost around like $100. It depends. it completely depends on how in depth you want them to get, but I've seen services that'll do that for about $100. Jeff Flo said it cost me over 10K to get started. Yeah, I'll do an example later of how much it cost me, or actually it cost my girlfriend to get started, and it was around about 10K actually. All right, looks like, yeah, the game changers. Yeah, someone posted there. Aw, thank you. So I got some compliments and it seems like the stream is working. Okay, good. I'm going to get back to my frequently asked questions, but you guys keep bringing in questions and I'll answer one of my FAQs and then I'll go back to you. So let's get into a little bit more detail on how much money is needed. So I think everybody knows about these different business models. Retail arbitrage is basically where you find a product, find something that is on a discount. So maybe you find a product that's normally $50 and you find it at a Walmart and it's heavily discounted and it's only $10. And then you flip it on Amazon, sell it for the full retail price of $50. And then after all the fees, you have some money that you can keep. Wholesale is where you go find manufacturers. You buy their product about 50% off at the wholesale price, and then you flip it on Amazon. So an example of this might be you go find Nike, you go contact Nike and you say, hey, these shoes are normally $100. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy 100 of them and I'm going to buy it for $50. And then you go to Amazon and you sell it for the original retail price of $100. It's a little bit cheaper to start wholesale than it is private label. Private label is where you take an existing product, you take something that already exists, maybe shampoo. You find a shampoo that already exists and you slap your own private label on it. This is, in my opinion, the most expensive one to start, and it's going to cost around $3,500. And then, of course, there's what I teach in my course. What I actually do myself is creating your own product. Now, this can cost some money to get started, but the cool thing is, and I'll talk about this later, you can raise money on Kickstarter to help supplement your startup costs. So you can actually create your own product for free. Now, I will talk about sometimes it helps. I think, yeah, so how much money does it cost to start your own product? $0, ideally. But obviously, the world isn't ideal. If you have $200 to $500 to create your own product, that's probably the best case scenario. But here's the other thing. The more money you have when creating your own product, the easier it's going to be. So the more money you have, the less time you're going to have to spend. So you're going to have to decide for yourself. Do you want to spend more time creating a really good product? So for instance, you could hire someone to do the graphic design for you, or you could do the graphic design yourself. It might cost you $100 to hire a graphic designer to create a logo, but it might take you 20 hours to create to learn how to create a good logo. So the more money you have, the easier the process is going to be, of course. But the cool thing about creating your own product is you don't need a ton of money. So like I said, I raised $15,000 on Kickstarter. Ariana, you can see here, she raised, I'm not showing my screen. I should be showing the screen here. Ariana raised $5,000. So here it is. I raised $15,000. I wasn't showing these. That's okay. And then anyways, let's talk about the different fees. So typically when selling on Amazon, no matter what, there's going to be a $40 fee. That's to be able to access Amazon FBA. If you're going to be doing like a professional seller account, which I recommend doing. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, next week I'm coming out with an in-depth video on it's like a 36-minute video. I'm really proud of it. I think it's going to be really good, like going over all these fees in detail. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have a lot of questions and I see people are starting to ask some questions on the sidebar here, and I want to make sure and get to those. I got one question here. What's going on, Travis? Nothing much. How you doing, Scott? Feel free, Scott. If you got anything you want to talk about, any questions, let me know. But things are going good on my end. Let's see. How many people do we have in the live stream right now? Guys, if you can, I've got 20 people watching. That's not bad. If you can give this a thumbs up, it helps the YouTube algorithm. So click that little like button, the little thumbs up button. Let YouTube know that you like this video, and then it'll help spread the word to more people to watch this YouTube live. So let's talk about some of the fees. So $40 a month, no matter what business model you're doing. If you want to have access to Amazon FBA, which you want to have, plus some of the different like professional selling features, you're going to do that. Designs, for very basic level designs, it's going to cost you around $150, but it depends on your product. And you know what? I'm going to give a real world example in just a minute of actually, I helped my girlfriend start a product, and I'm going to give a real world example of how much exactly it cost her. Samples was about $100. So if you have a manufacturer in China, they're going to make a sample product. Usually they'll do that for free. It depends on the product and stuff, but you're going to have to pay for shipping, and that could range about $50. And so this $100 is assuming you want to get 2 samples sent over to you. Now, obviously, these are all just hypothetical numbers here. Inventory. I would budget to have about $2,400, $2,500 for inventory. And this is assuming 400 units at $6 per unit. Obviously, depending on how much per unit it's cost and how many units you need to buy, it's going to be different prices. I recommend getting between 3 to 6 months worth of inventory. So whatever you think you're going to sell in between 3 to 6 months, I would buy that much. Personally, myself, I like to get closer to that 6-month mark because I don't want to run out of inventory. If you run out of inventory on Amazon, it's very bad, and you don't want to run out of inventory. Air shipping, you can do sea shipping or air shipping. I recommend for beginners air shipping. It makes things a little bit easier. That's going to be about $300. Photos for your product. This is the main photo for your product listing on Amazon. You can get a computer rendering or pay someone to take professional photos. It's going to be around $50. That's on the cheaper end. I think I spent like $100, so it's up to you. You can take them yourself, but it usually doesn't look as good. A DBA, it cost us around $150 for all the different DBA fees. You can do this for cheaper as well, but if you go to LegalZoom.com, it's around $150. UPC codes, there's cheaper ways to get UPC codes, but the legitimate way to do it's going to cost you about $250. And then assume that there's going to be other costs. Now, this is with private labeling again, guys. If you're going to be creating your own product, you can do the Kickstarter like I mentioned earlier, and you're not going to have to spend quite so much money. There's also optional fees when selling on Amazon. And let's see, it looks like we have some more questions coming in. I'll answer that in just a second. Optional fees include a course. You don't need to buy a course. Now, do I recommend buying a course? Of course, I think it's a good idea. And the reason for this, the way I talk about Amazon, it's kind of like climbing to the top of Mount Everest. Now, do you need a map to climb to top of Mount Everest? Of course not. Someone was the first one to do it, and they blazed their own trail. But if you're going to climb to Mount Everest, if you've never done it before, it might be worth investing in a map. And you don't need to spend a lot of money on a course. I have a free Amazon FBA course. Now, when I say free, there's a deposit. I require a deposit up front that you get back at the end after you complete. Basically, I want to help everybody that joins my course. I want to help them a lot. And if I'm going to help you a lot, I need to know that you have skin in the game. So I can't help you for free because then everybody would want my help. And I've tried to do that in the past. And when I've tried to help people in the past for free, they end up like quitting as soon as it gets tough. So my course is free as long as you complete it. And if you're serious about it, it's worth doing. And I have a link down below in the description. You can go to, it's effectivecommerce.com/ppfswitch or go to passionproductformula.com. Again, today is the last day to sign up. So if you want to sign up, there's only, I think, 4 spots left. Highly recommend doing that. But you don't need a course. I honestly didn't have a course. I wish I would have gotten a course. So that's up to you. Also, there are things like research tools, Jungle Scout and Helium 10. I have links down below to those two with discount codes, but those are 100% optional. I did do a video on why you don't need Jungle Scout, so go ahead and Google that or YouTube search that if you want. A bond. If you're going to be doing sea shipping, you need to pay for a bond. It's going to be about $100 for a single entry, $400 for a repeat entry. Freight forwarder. If you're going to be doing sea shipping, it might be worth hiring a freight forwarder, but you don't necessarily need to do that. Trademark. Optional. If you want to get brand registry on Amazon, I recommend doing a trademark. Again, it's optional. Lawyer, don't buy a lawyer. It's not worth it. Some people get a lawyer for their trademark. Don't do that. Now, if you are going to be doing private label, you're probably going to need some money for PPC. And I recommend having about $1,000 for PPC. Optional, you don't need this. Again, if you've created your own product and you have a product launch group and you follow my formula, which I have a free YouTube video as well. I'll try to link up the free YouTube video. I have like an 1.5 hour long free YouTube video where I talk about my method for selling on Amazon. Highly recommend watching that video. If you use my method, you don't necessarily need to spend money on PPC, but if you're just going to be private labeling a product, you probably are going to want at least $1,000. So next up is product giveaways. You're probably going to want to have around $300 for product giveaways. And what this is basically you give product away for free. in exchange for a review. And so you're gonna have to spend some money. You might have to, this is kind of against the terms of service on Amazon. Maybe your friends at the gym, you tell them, hey, I'm going to give you $30, go buy my product and leave me a review. Now, I don't recommend this because it's against terms of service, but there's other ways to do it that are a little bit more legitimate. So as you can see, private label can get pretty expensive. I'm going to do an example from Ariana in just a second, my girlfriend, when she launched her product, but I do see some questions. So I want to get in and go over some of those questions. So let me make this full screen. All right, let's see some questions. Mark Benjamin asked, what is a Kickstarter? Scott answered that for me. Thank you, Scott. Yeah, Mark, Kickstarter is just a way to crowdfund your project, your idea. So basically you tell everybody, hey, I have this idea for a really cool product. If you guys like this idea, pay for it ahead of time. And I did this with my product. I said, hey, everybody, I have this idea for really cool macadamia coconut cashew blended nut butter. It's going to be $28 per box, but if you guys are willing to buy it ahead of time, like a pre-sale, I'll sell it for $20. And if enough people buy it, I get all that money and I do a production run. And I made about $15,000 off of that. And so I took all that money and then I invested it in my production run. So that's what that is. What products should you buy for starters? So Josh, I'm not really sure if I know your question. So you're saying, what products should you buy for starters? I don't think you should buy any kind of products for starters. I think you should create your own product. Because if you're just buying junk that everyone else is buying, and it's going to be saturated, they're going to have a lot of competition. So that's up to you whether or not you want to do that. But I'm not a wholesaler person. I'm not a retail arbitrage person. I do not recommend doing that. So Peter said, I've been thinking about doing Amazon for quite some time. Maybe it's just analysis paralysis, but I'm having trouble actually starting. What do you recommend in order to get the ball rolling? This is what I recommend. Make some kind of a commitment. Figure out, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter what the commitment is, but there's a TED Talk. I wish I could, I need to link it up later. There's a TED Talk where they talked about what is the factor between entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are people that want to be an entrepreneur, but they never do it. They never quit their day job. They never actually take the plunge. And the key is every entrepreneur, every real entrepreneur has a no turning back moment, a moment when they make a commitment that there's no turning back from. As long as you give yourself an out, you're not going to ever get the ball rolling. So how do I recommend doing this? Well, for me, for my product Performance Nut Butter, I spent $3,500 on a video for my Kickstarter. Now, do you need to spend $3,500 for a video on your Kickstarter? No. Since then, I've never spent that kind of money again. If you were going to do a Kickstarter, I recommend just making it yourself. But I wanted to do it right. I wanted to make a commitment. So I spent $3,500. And the only way I was going to get that money back is if I actually go through and I launch the product and I complete it. And I hate losing money. I hate spending money. So you want to get the ball rolling, make a commitment. Now, there's a few different ways to do this. One, spend a bunch of money on inventory. Spend a bunch of money on a course. Spend a bunch of money on something that you can't run away from turning back. Jeff, Alibaba. Oh, drop shipping. Don't drop ship. I hate drop shipping so much. I think that is the most silly business model of 2020. I'm going to do a video on this actually. The reason I think drop shipping is so bad is, let me ask you a question. And Jeff, feel free to disagree with me. I see you're very active in the comments, which I love, Jeff. But when's the last time you bought something from a drop shipping website? I don't know. For me, 2015, maybe. I buy everything off of Amazon. And I think drop shipping is a very gimmicky way to make money, in my opinion. It's very saturated. It's just not the best way to make money. And if it's easy for you to do it, it's easy for someone else to do it. So I would never recommend to anybody to do drop shipping. Now, 100% up to you on this, but drop shipping is okay. Okay, let me rephrase it. You can make money drop shipping, and drop shipping is okay if you don't want to take a big risk, if you just want to dip your toe in the water. But here's the thing. I've never seen someone become really successful from drop shipping. I might know one person. I've seen a lot of people become successful from Amazon. I've seen a lot of people create their own product and become really successful. But drop shipping, I'm not a fan of. All right. Oh, okay, Jeff, you did create your own product from China. Awesome. The good thing about crowdfunding is free. Yeah, Jeff said the good thing about crowdfunding is it's free. So I'm going to get back to my regularly scheduled program here, and then we'll just keep going back and forth. So now I want to do an example from Ariana. So my girlfriend, I helped her create a product, and it costs way more. We made some mistakes. I'll talk about some mistakes we made here. So here we go. Let's do this. So Amazon fees, $40. Boom. DBA, $150. We spent a lot of money designing her product. It's Vino cards. It's a very design heavy product. So that was $2,000. Now we probably could have gotten that for cheaper if we would have shopped around. We hired a sommelier to look at the Vino cards. The sommelier is a wine expert. We had someone review them. We did not send samples actually. So shouldn't have been there. Inventory. We spent $11,000 on inventory. I ordered 2,000 units, which is way too much. Now that was a mistake. We should have only ordered 400 units. But yeah, air shipping, we spent $700 on. We did air shipping and sea shipping because we wanted to hurry up and get some product in time for Christmas. We did a bond, which was $400, UPC codes, $250, photos, which was $100. Again, I'm going to go into way more depth in this in next week's video, guys. Get excited because next week's video is going to be dope. And then random fees, $270. So it cost her $16,000 to get started. But that $16,000 isn't including the $5,000 we raised on Kickstarter, so it was closer to $11,000. But if we would have got the design cheaper, if we would have purchased less inventory, and if we would have not done sea shipping, if we would have just focused on the air shipping, we could have done this for $5,500. And as I mentioned, Ariana raised $5,000 on Kickstarter, so she could have started her company for $500. And if she would have worked a little bit harder and done a better Kickstarter, we could have got it all paid for. And that's the power of creating your own product. And I know I talk about that a lot on this channel, but that's why, guys. I think it's super powerful. Let's keep the questions coming. I don't want to keep just talking about that. So I'm going to go back to answering some questions. So leave your questions in the comments. And if you don't have a question, give me an update on who you are. Let's have a little bit of conversation going. Wasim said, "What do you recommend me doing?" I think it's Wasim. That's all I talk about on this channel. I highly recommend checking out some of my other videos or just keep watching. Guys, I see we're up to 36 people watching, which is pretty cool. If you haven't yet, hit that like button. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm, and it makes me want to keep doing this because when I see a lot of people are liking and not just when I see people are just sitting back and watching, I don't know if they're real people. But when you hit that like button, then I know that, oh my God, like there's actually real people. Let's see if in the next minute or two we can get that. It's at 15. Let's get that up to 20. We already got it up to 16. That's pretty cool. So Josh asked, do you use credit cards or was it cash for buying inventory? Whoa. By the way, the likes went from 15 to 22 like that. That's amazing. I really appreciate that. That makes me feel 24. Jeez, that makes me feel good. I'll be honest. That's awesome. So the question Josh asked was, do you use credit cards or was it cash for buying inventory? So I don't usually use credit cards. Most of the manufacturers in China, they want you to do a wire transfer, which is scary. I don't think I've done a video on that. Man, when I wire transferred over, the first money I ever wire transferred over, a few $1,000s, it's scary because there's no getting that back. Like a credit card, you can call up and you can say, hey, this was fraud. When you do a wire transfer, good luck getting that money back, right? It's pretty much impossible. Now, there is some inventory in the United States I've purchased using credit cards. Like for my product Performance Nut Butter, the film and the boxes that it goes into, I can use credit cards for that. Oh, sorry. It's JetFlow, not Jeff. I kept saying, I think that the two T's confused me there. So I'm going back to answering some questions, guys, and I'm gonna go back and forth as we go. I do have, just to let you know, let's see. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is how much time do you need? Because this is a big question I get asked often, is how much time do you need to create a profitable Amazon FBA business? And my answer might surprise you. So let's answer a few more questions and then I'll get into that. Let's see. So Lisa said, I feel like there's so much competition at this point. I'm having a tough time finding a product. So Lisa, my question is to you, what do you mean by trying to find a product? I mean, first off, there's a bunch of different tools you can use. I have links down below my bio to those tools for finding a product. But what I recommend is don't find a product and then make it better. So figure out, what do you wish existed in the world? Go out and create that. Now, maybe it's taking an existing product and just tweaking it, trying to make it a little bit better, but maybe it's something completely else. But yeah, so that's something I would recommend. We can talk more about that, Lisa. Let me know what you think about that. Like, Lisa, are you trying to do private label? Are you trying to do wholesale? Are you trying to create your own product? Give me some more info. Oh, Jet Flow. He said, I used Alibaba to reach out to an engineer to create my project. That's what I'm talking about. Jet, if you're willing to share what your product is or anything like that, I'd love to connect with you more. How long have you been selling on Amazon? Super interested in that. Yeah, Jackie said sourcing through Alibaba is a lot cheaper. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yasar said, I don't have a product in my mind. So it seems like a lot of people are talking about, let me make a note of this. A lot of people are saying, I don't have a product idea. And I'm going to make a video coming up soon talking about how to, I lost the thumbs up. It was at 25 thumbs up and then it went down to 24. That's hilarious. Let me write down product idea / product research video. I was thinking about doing that the other day. Yeah, I'm going to do a complete tutorial for you guys on that. Actually, out of curiosity, is anybody in the chat new? Like anyone that's never been to my channel before, like just found out about me? I'm always curious how YouTube Live works. Like, I don't know if it's all repeat people coming to my YouTube Live or if there are some new people. So I'd love to hear from you guys. So anyone new? Yeah, give me a shout out. So Tactica said, what is the minimum you can start with if you don't have a Kickstarter? I'd say about $5,000 is fair, minimum. Personally, some people will say $2,500 or $3,500 around there. I wouldn't feel right telling less than 5,000 because it's just, there's a lot of things that can add up really quickly. Let's see. Did you request the supplier to use the sample order cost as a deposit for your real order? So Niner Empire. You're one of those guys. That's I don't know if you're from, there's another YouTube channel out there that is, it's got a little bit of a bad reputation. I'm curious if you're a fan of them or where the name came from, but, I'm going to answer. Okay. So the way my manufacturers worked is they didn't allow the sample cost to be used as a deposit. Every manufacturer is different. And as far as paying for a professional photographer, I recommend paying for a computer rendering instead. If you look at my products, I wonder if I have them in this. Let me see if I have them in this. Nope, I don't have it. Oh yeah, right here. So let me show you this. So if you look at my products, it's a computer rendering. It's not a, this isn't a photo. It's a computer rendering, which looks a lot better and you can do really cool things. Like, look at that. That looks amazing in my opinion. So I wouldn't recommend hiring a photographer personally, but a computer renderer instead. Graphic designer. All right, here's a preview of some of the other questions. So how much time? We're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to answer a few more questions, then I'm going to get back to this. Lisa. All right. I'm going to get back to these questions. I'm going to keep jumping back and forth. I see we got a few more. So how much time does it take to be successful? Yeah, so that's the question. How much time does it take to be successful on Amazon? By the way, we're up to 28 likes. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Let's see. How much time do you need? Well, honestly, it depends. Like, people ask me this question all the time. How much time does it take to be successful on Amazon? Totally depends. I'd say 1 day a week, 2 to 4 hours a week, and you could probably do it in, if you spent 1 day a week doing about 2 to 4 hours per week, I'd say 30 weeks. You could probably do it in. So what's that? About 100 hours. I'd say 100 hours from start to finish. And keep in mind there's delays. Like if you're communicating with someone in China there's going to be like a 24-hour delay. If you have to get products manufactured, there's going to be a delay. I'd say 3 to 6 months minimum, and 1 day a week, working about 4 hours a day. 1 day, 2 to 4 hours a week. Now, when I was helping Ariana start her Avino Cards business, she spent probably about 1 day a week, 2 to 4 hours or so. You could do less or more. Now, also, if you have money to spend, you don't need to spend as much of your own time. Again, the example I'll give is you can hire a graphic designer or you can do all the graphic design yourself. And if you're going to hire someone, it's going to cost a little bit more money, but it's going to save you a lot more time. So this is why I use the scale image here of, do you want to spend your time or do you want to spend your money? And it's up to you, obviously. So my big question to you, everybody always asks me this is, how are you going to spend your free time? If you want to be successful at something, you're going to need to spend your free time not watching TV. I mean, I'm not saying you can't watch any TV, but all that time, I see people that are playing video games for 20 hours a week. Amazon FBA is a video game. Starting your own online business is the most fun video game I've ever done. It's unreal. Working on my business, watching the numbers go up, it really feels like I'm playing a video game, except for I can actually go spend the money in real life. So let's go back. The next question I'm going to have is, how long will it take? Actually, I already answered that, 3 to 6 months. And then how much can you make? This is another question I get asked. How much can you make on Amazon FBA? But let's get back into answering your questions. All right. So I don't know how to pronounce your name. Dejol Tav. He said, I passed the beginner stage. I feel like I'm hearing the same beginner questions over and over again. I'm looking for something more advanced. Do you recommend a mastermind group? Absolutely. Joining a mastermind is one of the best things you can do. Dejol, I don't know how to pronounce it again. How long have you been selling on Amazon? If you feel comfortable sharing your revenue, share that in the chat. Maybe I can hook you up with someone, a mastermind group. Obviously, I've got paid mastermind groups and all that kind of stuff as well. So there's two options with the masterminds. You can get lucky. You can get lucky and find a mastermind group that's already working and join it. It's rare to be able to have that happen. The second option is you can host it yourself. And this is what I did, actually. I'd find a bunch of people that are higher level than me, and I would be the one organizing everything, which is a lot of work. And then the third option is paying. If you don't want to do the work organizing everybody and you don't get lucky and find one, you can pay for one. There are different options out there. I have a mastermind within my course, but I don't have a standalone mastermind as of yet. If you know of a good mastermind, let me know. But that is one of those things that's going to catapult your success like crazy. Let's keep going here. Oh, let's see. So Niner Empire said, I've heard about people using PayPal to pay instead of wire transfer. Is this a better option? A lot of manufacturers will not allow PayPal because they know that you could get the product and then say to PayPal that, I never received it, and ask for your money back. Also, it's going to be more expensive because you have to pay a PayPal fee. You have to pay a wire transfer fee too. I've never been able to use PayPal. Everyone I've ever talked to doesn't allow me to. If you can, sure. If you want a little bit of peace of mind, yeah. So Jared said, "Hey Travis, I second elaborating on Kickstarter. What questions do you have on Kickstarter? Let me know specifics here. I have videos that go in depth on Kickstarter, so I don't want to spend too much time on that right now. If you have specific questions though, I'm happy to talk." Yasar said, "I'm new." Robel said, "Me." I assume that means that he's new. All right. So Challenge Weighted Workout Wear said, affiliate marketing versus Amazon FBA. Yeah. Affiliate marketing is a very big subject, and affiliate marketing could include YouTube affiliate marketing, paid affiliate marketing, creating blog posts. Affiliate marketing is a good way to make money. 100%. It can be very competitive. Also, it's one of the benefits of doing an Amazon FBA company is you can grow your company, make it very passive, and sell your company. Affiliate marketing is harder to do that. It depends on how you're doing it. So let me know exactly what you're talking about. There's different affiliate marketing models. So I'd love to talk about that more. I had a friend that used to do paid ads affiliate marketing. So he'd spend $10,000, but he'd make $15,000 in commission, but you need to have a lot of capital. It's very capital intensive. That's one way. Blogs or YouTube is another way to do it. And that is, it's got its own challenges. And I don't think I don't think affiliate marketing is a bad way to make money, but it's not. I think Amazon FBA right now is pretty good. But yeah. Josh said, I'm new. All right, cool. Josh, welcome to the channel. Josh, I'm curious, who are some of your favorite YouTubers on Amazon FBA? How long have you been interested in this topic? All right, let's see. Oh, so JetFlow says, I've been selling on Amazon FBA for 5 months, maybe 3K in sales. I sell a universal pool fountain cleaner for your swimming pool. You can check out my videos on this channel if you're interested. Yeah. All right. Start with small product to create if money is tight. Yeah, I agree with that. If money's really tight, start with a smaller product. Congrats, JetFlow. That's awesome. I'd say 3K in sales. I don't mean this in a mean way. It's still very beginner. Like in 5 months is still very beginner. By contrast, I've been in e-commerce for 7 years. I've been doing Amazon for 4 years. I have one product that really took off that I started about 2 years ago. But that being said, yeah, a lot of the questions that I answer in this Q&A are super beginner level questions because that's where it seems like the most people need help. By the way, I just want to point out, we're up to 53 people watching this live stream. That's amazing. If you're new, if you just joined, make sure to hit that like button. I've asked already a lot of people have hit the like button, but by hitting that like button, it lets YouTube know that this is a really good live stream. It'll help promote this live stream, and it lets me know that you actually value my time and like value what I'm saying, and it makes me want to do it more often. So thank you guys for doing that. So also for anyone that's new, here's some of the questions. Let me post this down. Here's some of the questions that we're going to go over, but at the same time, I'm going to keep answering your guys' questions. So if you have any questions, make sure and leave it in the comments. We're up to 29 likes. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that's hitting that like button. Let's go over the big question I think a lot of people are curious about is how much can you make? And obviously this is kind of a silly question. And the reason it's silly is because there's no limit. Like, I'm not trying to make this sound like a salesy, like you can become a billionaire, but it's like, as long as you have a really good product, of course you can make a ton of money. I have quite a few friends that are multimillionaires off of Amazon. I'm technically, like, I'm not in a bragging way, but I'm technically a millionaire from Amazon. And it's not that I have $1 million in the bank. It's just my company is, well, my company is not necessarily worth $1 million right now, my Amazon company. But between my Amazon company and this YouTube channel, I have like $1 million worth of assets. I can share my income report if people want that. I share my income report in a lot of videos. I don't know if I have it in this one actually. So the next question I get often is, how do I know my product will sell? You know what? Before I answer that question, let's go back to answering your guys' question. Wow, this is a lot of talking. I'm going to be honest with you. Whoa, we jumped up to 36 likes. That makes me feel good. This is really fun. I hope you guys enjoy the YouTube lives. This is something I did my first YouTube live last week and I had a ton of issues. If anyone was on the YouTube live from last week, like, leave a comment, let me know. But hopefully let me know if the sound sounds better this time. Last time there was a ton of echo and I spent a lot of time figuring out what went wrong. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate almost 39 likes. Whoa, that's pretty crazy. We have almost as many likes as we have people watching. There's something special about that. Let's see what else we got. All right. Yeah, Joel said, yes, sir. No one can truly tell how much your journey will cost as it's different from product to product. 100%. Like, I love that answer. You know, you can kind of do some guessing on the back of an envelope and like write out some numbers, but it's probably going to be more than you think it's going to be. I'll be honest with you. That's why I like doing a Kickstarter. All right. I think it's Sharon. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Sharon, by the way, thank you for the support. She was like the first one to leave a comment. She said some nice remarks earlier. Question, Travis, did you register your trademark brand name, both federal and state, or does federal supersede state registration? Oh, I just did federal. I don't even know about state. Yeah, I just did the federal one. USPTO.gov. Honestly, So next week when I do my cost breakdown, I'm going to have a section on trademarking. Watch that video, guys. I'm really excited about this video coming out next week. I think it's going to be one of the best videos I've ever done. All right, let's go back. All right, here's a good question for everyone that is selling on Amazon FBA. Leave in the comments your answer to this. What's the most daunting thing for a first timer? So if you're out there, you're watching this and you have sold on Amazon, please leave a comment on what is the most daunting thing for a first timer. And up to 41 likes, by the way. So for me, the most daunting thing, I honestly believe you're going to have to change as a person in a positive way. How do I explain this? You're going to have to go outside of your comfort zone. Whatever it is, you have something, you're not even aware of it yet. You have something that's holding you back that you don't even know about. And it's going to be really uncomfortable, but you're going to have to like adjust and change as a person. So for instance, for me, I'm a guy. I grew up, my dad is very, very masculine type of guy and very much, like a man's man type of person. And emotions were something I always shoved down. Not that I'm super emotional now, but what I was always very hyper logical. And what I needed to realize is on my on my entrepreneur quest was that it's not all about logic. It's not all about the math. There's something very important called passion. And if you guys know my story, I'll do a very quick version of my story. I know there's a few people that are new. When I quit my corporate job 7 years ago, a little over 7 years ago, oh my gosh, this 7-year anniversary is, the 7-year anniversary is actually coming up in 2 days. So I quit the day before Valentine's Day. Like Valentine's Day is kind of a reminder to me of my loving myself and taking charge. But anyways, when I quit my corporate job, I was hyper analytical, logical. I thought emotion was silly. And I spent the next 5 years struggling because I'm I don't care about passion. I just want to make money. If the numbers make sense, I'm all in. And for me, it was realizing that you need to have passion. You need to believe in what you're doing. And that was when I unlocked that part and started tapping into the emotional side of my intelligence, it was just crazy. It's kind of like if you have a man that's trying to do something by himself and doesn't have a female touch. I don't know. I can't fully explain it. I'm gonna think of a better analogy for that. But there's something holding you back that you don't even know about. Now, if you want a little bit more down to earth example, the most daunting thing is spending money, not knowing if you're going to get it back. You might spend $5,000 to start on Amazon FBA and you're going to hope and you're going to pray. But here's the thing. You're going to learn so much freaking information, so much about yourself, so much about entrepreneurship by spending that $5,000 to get started on Amazon. Let's say hypothetically, you're going to become a better version of you. And if you don't make that money back, then you know what? Your next business, you're going to learn some lessons and you're going to make the money back. So that's by far the most daunting thing. Let's see what else we got. So Josh asked, when can you get your first paycheck from Amazon? As soon as you start, man. About 2 weeks after you start selling, they'll start sending those paychecks, but you got to get started. This isn't I don't know if you've ever seen those infomercials, get checks in the mail from FedEx. No, you got to get started and you got to go do it. AJ, by the way, everybody, if you guys can, check out AJ's channel, AJ Rants. He started a YouTube channel. He is crushing it. He's working really hard. He said being in a mastermind group is the number one thing that moves the needle in taking action. Also holds you accountable in your if you're in a great group. Totally agree. It's a game changer because entrepreneurship is lonely. It's a struggle. But when you have other people that are struggling with you, again, my metaphor is climbing to the top of Mount Everest. I don't want to try to do that by myself. I want a group of people because when I feel tired, they're going to help me. If I get sick, they're going to help me out. If I've got a question, they're going to be able to do it. Let's see. What would you do differently if you were starting over? What would I do differently? Check out my 1 year video. I did a video. It's my most popular video on my channel. It's my 1 year video. And I go in depth of what I would do if I was starting over. And basically my product was my product that I launched 2 years ago. My main one that I talk about on this channel was super successful, and it still is successful, but I didn't push the pedal to the metal as much as I should have. So I should have done that. So Salim said physical product versus digital product. So yeah, digital products are awesome. Obviously, digital products are awesome because the high margins, but it's very competitive and it's harder to convince someone to buy a digital product. Amazon FBA, dude, people buy things off Amazon FBA. Like I've seen people buy so much junk and they just, because Amazon has a good refund and return rate, and people have a lot of trust for Amazon, it's easier to sell something on Amazon than it is to sell a digital product. Now, digital products have a lot of advantages, but also, yeah. So I can do a more detailed answer about that if more people are interested. Man, we're going with a lot of questions. We're up. Look at this, guys. 46 people watching right now and 43 likes. That's like on average, every single person has hit that like button. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, shame on you. You should go hit it. No, just kidding. But seriously, hit that like button. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. So let's see. Question: what tools? So what tools do you use for keyword and product research? So I have a video on this. You don't need Jungle Scout. If you type in Jungle Scout and look for my face, I have a video on how I do my keyword research. But Jungle Scout or Helium 10, I don't think I have a link to Helium 10 in my bio. I should do that in my description. I should. They're both great tools. I just don't personally use them. But if you do want to use them and you want a discount code, check the link in the bio. But I don't think you need them. It depends what you're selling, by the way. I haven't started selling my own product per se. I sold. So the Joel said, let's see. The Joel, let me ask you. So you say you're building a brand at the moment. Tell me a little bit more. Let me ask you, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The Joel, what YouTubers do you watch? I'm always curious, guys. I'd love, is Bill Stenzel a scam? Oh, I skipped over that one. Should I do a video? Bill Stenzel is a scam? Bill, we're going to have to talk about it. You might have to do a video on if I'm a scam soon. Hopefully the answer is no. But good to see you, Bill. And then let's see. What was the question? Oh, to Joel and anybody and everybody in the chat, I'd love for you to put what YouTubers you watch in the Amazon space, like who you think I should do a collaboration with. I'm always interested in learning more. By the way, we're up to 45 people watching and 46 likes, which is mathematically impossible. No, obviously people like the video and then they leave. Shame on them for leaving. So let's go back to some questions. I'm going to lose my voice soon. I've been doing a lot of talking today. Oh, I forgot to do, actually, quick question as well. Does anybody watch YouTube stories? I've been doing YouTube stories and I'm not sure, YouTube tells me people are watching them, but I'm not sure if anyone's actually watching them. So love to know about that. Let's see. All right, Sora. Yo, brother, I was just looking at your video earlier today with your girlfriend of the average amount you need to start. Sora, thank you for checking out the channel. Sora was saying he checked out a video. Bo Crabbill. So Josh says he checks out Bo Crabbill. So that I don't know a lot about him. I think he's a drop shipper or something. JetFlow says he's trying out for Shark Tank in April. I did a video. If you want to check out my video, I did a video where I went and I tried out for Shark Tank. I wasn't supposed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. I made it past the first round, and it was a lot of work, and then they ended up cutting me after that. And honestly, I'm happy I did it, sure, because I'm happy I do everything, but it was kind of a waste of time. So just be careful, because a lot of people try out for Shark Tank, and unless you got a really cool product, it's hard to do. So JetFlow says, what can I do to increase my sales? Amazon PPC. Are you doing some Amazon PPC? Jackie says, love this session. Whoa, a lot more questions just showed up. My dad, Don Marziani's in the chat here. He said, are you live again? Yes, I'm live again. Let's see. Justin Garcia says, yes, I'm in Bill Stenzel's course. ... He's a scam. With love. Obviously joking. Let's see. I lost my place here. All right. Can you explain Amazon PPC a little bit more? How can you rank better? You know what? If you want to send me I'm thinking about doing another video on this. So my email, travis@effectiveecommerce.com. If you want to send me an email, I can see what your questions are. I have a buddy that actually just launched an Amazon I was just hanging out with him earlier. He launched an Amazon PPC course, and I'm going to be doing like an hour-long tutorial video very soon. So yeah, let's see. DeJoel said, did you trademark abroad as well? No, I did not. I come from. Okay, let's see. Sorry guys, I'm a little bit behind in the chat. I'm trying to get caught up, but you're asking a lot of really great questions. So I'm gonna try to speed read through these. I had this whole thing planned, by the way, and you know what? You guys are asking better questions than anything I had. I might have to go back and, you know what I'm going to do? The questions that I get the most often, I'm going to go back through and try to make separate videos for. So let's see what we got. Justin Garcia said, will Amazon suspend me for selling without an LLC or DBA? You know what? I've never ran into that problem. I don't want to give you an answer because I'm not sure. It's the government that you might have issues with, but maybe not. Yeah, DeJoel said, in my opinion, you'll need to tap into your feminine side to get truly creative. Yeah, I mean, that's been, just to get a little bit personal for a second, my girlfriend, Ariana, who I've talked about on this channel, we've been dating, it's a little bit complicated. We dated for I don't think I've ever mentioned this on the channel before. So I was living with my parents, and the reason I was living with my parents was not because I'm a total failure, which that's arguable, but at the time, my dance clothing business, I co-owned with my mom, and we had a manufacturing facility in my hometown. And so it just made sense to live with my parents. In fact, my dad, I was paying rent, and like there was kind of this little bit of like, he wasn't necessarily saying you need to pay rent, but like I wanted to prove to him, I'm like, look, I'm not doing this to be cheap. Like I'm not moving back home because I'm a failure kind of thing. I'm still going to pay rent, and I'm going to pay my fair share. And, anyways, we dated for about 4 months, and then she moved to Africa for a year. I think we talk about this in some of our earlier videos. She moved to Africa for a year. And then when she came back to LA, since then we've been dating consistently. We just celebrated our 3-year anniversary about 2 weeks ago. And why was I talking about this? Oh, we're talking about the feminine side. And one of the things I've realized in dating her is you need that yin and the yang. So I think it's yang is technically how you pronounce it. I'm very yang. I'm very like go, go, go. So yang is like, or yang as a lot of people say it, is that go, go, go energy, like always trying to be doing better, always trying to like strive higher, more, whatever, work super hard. And she's very yin. She can sleep for 10 hours and like, I can't. I'm going to wake up after like 5 hours. I'm like awake and I'm like, she'll sleep for 10 hours. One of my favorite examples of this, I don't know if I've talked about this on the channel, is in our first year of our relationship, she came over to my house, and it was a Saturday, and I had this like list of ideas of things we should do. Like we should go for a hike and we should do this, but I was tired and I was burnt out, and I was like, it's a Saturday. We need to be outside of the house because I work from home all the time. And I was trying to think like, what should we do? But I didn't want to do anything. And she just looked at me and she said, do you want to just like lay in bed and watch a movie? And it was 2:00 in the afternoon on a Saturday. And I grew up, if the sun's out, you aren't supposed to be inside. You're supposed to be outside. You're not supposed to be watching TV. And that blew my mind. And we laid down on the bed and we watched a movie, and it was the most relaxing, most like regenerative thing I'd ever done. And it felt like by the end of that like hour and a half of watching the movie, I felt like a different person. It made me realize that you don't need to constantly be striving and go, go, go. In fact, by having that yin, that relaxation, it actually makes you more powerful. It makes you more creative. So I went off on a huge tangent there. Let's go. Morning Blue said, how much money would you suggest people start with? Check the beginning of this video afterwards. And I'm doing a video about that next week. Like 4K in the bank. I say 5K. So Salama said, how long would it take to earn 3 to 4K a month on Amazon? I'd say minimum 3 months. 6 months is probably more realistic, but it could be even higher. Niner Empire 101 said, what's the easiest way to find if a product is allowed and not restricted? Google it. I don't know. Just Google the category, and just you're going to have to use some of your smarts. I'm saying a lot, by the way. All right. I normally do enterprise e-commerce for larger merchants. I think it may be time to fire up Shopify dropship site and do some FBA for content purposes. So Stoyan said, I think the Joel is pronounced Joel. Is that how you pronounce it? The Joel or Joel? I don't know. There's a D in there. I'm American. I don't know how to pronounce other names. Yeah. The Joel or Joel said you can be a sole proprietor, which is selling with your social security number, and you won't get suspended. Okay, yeah, that is true. I forgot about that. A DBA is just if you want to have it's called doing business as. So you might have, for instance, Ariana has a DBA of Vino cards. Sequence says, I only watch you. Yeah, guys, let me know what other YouTubers you watch. I always love hearing about that. Watch a YouTube story. So Monroe said, I've never watched a YouTube story. Justin's a big fan of Bill Stenzel, and we have done a video before. If you check out my channel and his channel, it was probably like 5 months ago. Let's see. If I have the funds to make a first small production run. All right, I'm going to read a question from John here. Guys, we're up to 49 people watch. 50 people. Just hit 50 people. If you're new to the stream, you got to hit that like button, and then I'll answer your question. So I'm answering everybody's questions. Just leave them in the sidebar. If you see the chat on the side there, I'm answering everybody's questions. Oh, someone ran away as soon as I asked for that like. Maybe I'm getting too desperate here. All right. If I have the funds to make a first small production run, should I still try to do a crowdfunding campaign or just put all the money into getting the product on Amazon faster? There's a lot of variables in that. I think I like doing Kickstarter first because it's free money for one. Two, it's a better story for your product. Oh, we just hit 51 likes. That's awesome. I like doing Kickstarters. I think a Kickstarter, from now on, I made a mistake by not doing a Kickstarter for Performance Nut Butter Cacao, my second product. But from now on, I'm going to start doing Kickstarters all the time. By the way, I do want to mention really quick, since there is only a limited time left. I reopened up the Passion Product Formula course, which is my Amazon FBA course. And let's see, do I have a video about it? And I wanted to mention that tonight's the last night to join. Oh no. Showing you this. So basically, for anyone that doesn't know, and I know there's 50 people watching right now, I do have an Amazon FBA course, and I want to help you for free. It's a free course. As long as you complete it, as long as you go through it and actually follow the steps to launch a product, I'll give you your money back. The only reason I'm doing this is because I want to get testimonials. I want to get success stories, and I want you to be a success story. So I'm willing to help you out for free. And so what you're going to get is obviously my help for free, an in-depth course, 6 weeks of group Q&A calls, a lifetime to my Facebook group. I have a private Facebook group, 2 one-on-one calls with me. By the way, this is AJ. AJ, I hope it's okay. I used your picture for this. I just needed something. You're going to get a checklist for starting your company. You're going to get all my courses. So there's a link in the description down below. If you go to effectiveecommerce.com/ppfswitch or passionproductformula.com, either one of those ones work. Tonight's the last night, and there's only 3 spots left. There's been people, it's been selling out, and it's going to go fast. I guarantee it's going to sell out before midnight, but at midnight, no matter what, I'm closing the course. So if you want to learn more, go to passionproductformula.com or check out the link in the bio. Here, you know what? I'll put the link in the chat for anybody that's watching live. Let's go ahead and post that here, and I'll also add it to the description, because I have a different link right now. Oops. I think I broke something. That's okay. All right, guys. Let's go back to some Q's and A's. Up to 55 likes. Thank you guys for the likes. Appreciate it. All right. Ariana's saying some nice comments. Let's see. I'm just going through you guys' questions. How long does it take to get your first sale? I got my first sale right when I launched my product. The D is silent. Dang it, Joel. Now I know. So Eugene asked, what do I use for product research? And I don't use Jungle Scout or Helium 10, but a lot of people do. I use my brain. I have, it's funny. Like basically what I do is anytime there's a product that I wish existed, if I go search for something on Amazon and nothing shows up, that's an aha moment. That's when I know I need to go create a product. Let's see what else we got. Randall said, I'm having a hard time having Amazon verify me. Do you scan in copies of your ID, then send them? They said they can't verify it. I haven't had that happen. Let's see. I don't know. I can't speak on that, to be honest with you. There's how much content? I don't know, that's maybe 10 hours worth of content. Plus every week there's a Q&A call that's recorded. So it's a lot of, it's all the content you need to get started. How do taxes work? That's a deep question. Yeah, that's a deep question. So I'm going to save that for another video. Rena, I hope to see you in the course. Let's see. Is it possible to create a listing just for 20 hair braids? Probably. Deco said, when will you release that video about Amazon PPC? Good question. I haven't filmed it yet, so I'm not sure. Maybe 3-4 weeks. Don Marziani asked, who is my R&D person? My dad. My dad's the best R&D person. He's got the greatest flavors. How do taxes work once you become successful? Well, once you become successful enough, you just go to the Cayman Islands and you don't pay taxes. No, I'm just kidding. That's a complicated question. I'm not a tax professional, so I don't want to give tax advice. All right. 47 people watching. Let's see, guys. Are we running out of questions here? I appreciate all you guys answering or asking all these questions, like all this engagement. This is really fun for me. And I think that, yeah, I definitely want to do these more often. I'm not done yet. Let's keep going. Let's keep the questions going. What I would love to do, I don't know if this is even possible. It's probably not. What I'd love to see is if I can get this to 100 likes by the end of this live stream and maybe give it another 20 minutes or so. So Rena said, when does the next course start? It starts right away. So basically today is the last day to sign up, and then it'll start as soon as you sign up, you get access to the course. And as soon as you sign up, you get access to the course. And then the next Q&A call would be this coming Thursday. So yeah, let's see. I'm going to check. Wow. Okay. So there's 2 spots left. So there's only 2 spots left. So Rena, if you are interested, I would recommend the sooner the better, probably. Is this light pretty bright? I'm gonna turn the brightness down. So Don Marziani asked, who is your best friend? I don't know. There's multiple answers to that question. Ariana is my best friend. Is Ariana still in the chat? Ariana's probably realistically my best friend. I spend the most time with her. As far as like guy friends, I have a few different random guy friends, but it's hard to pick a best one. So Rena said, I'm interested, but my graduate course is over on the 28th. Rena, it's up to you, but if you want to join for this round, you can focus on your graduate course up until the 28th and then focus on this afterwards. And then you still have 2 weeks to decide if for any reason you want your money back. I'm happy to give it back. So Stoyan said, how did you handle inspection for your food product? My product is not made in China. So Tactical said, at what point do you go back to teach others? How long does it take to become comfortable with the knowledge needed for Amazon FBA? So everyone's different. I've been doing e-commerce for 7 years, Amazon FBA for 4 years. For me personally, I started teaching as I was doing it. Every time I'd learn something, I would teach something because you're always one step ahead of someone, right? And so in my opinion, it's a matter of, how do I explain this? If you're one step ahead of someone, teach them what you know. Now, for me, when I quit my corporate job, I had the goal to make $300 a day passive income, meaning I could go on vacation for a month and still keep making that $300 a day. And once I hit that goal, I just started teaching. I started teaching more than I started focusing on my own business because what's the point of, there was no reason for me to blow up my business because I was already making, I'll be blunt, I'm making enough money from Amazon, from YouTube. I don't need to do anything for the money anymore. Like I need to do what I love to do. And now what I love doing is teaching. I do love working on my Amazon business at times, but the reason I like it, to be honest with you, the only reason like I still do Amazon isn't for the money. It's because I enjoy learning. I enjoy creating cool products. So at what point, it's different for everyone. But yeah, let's go. Yasar, email me. Here, I'll put my email in. Email me right now and let me know what's going on and we can chat. Usually I don't let people join after it closes, but we can chat a little bit, see if there's some good reasons. All right, guys, I know there's a lot of people that have just recently joined. Thank you everybody that's liked this video so far. And let's do this. If by 6:15 we can get up to 70 likes, I'll keep going. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it at 6:15. Greg, I saw you just joined. I'm really excited to have you on board. Greg, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself. What is your idea? Or not what's your idea, sorry. I'm like trying to read the chat as I'm talking to you. Do you have an idea, Greg, that you want to create into a product, or do you need help with that? Then what do you do to find a local supplier for food product? Stoyan, honestly, to answer your question, he asked, how do you find a local supplier for a food product? Honestly, just search everywhere on Google. We're up to 59 likes. Like I said, if we can get that up to 70 likes by 6:15, we'll keep this going up to 60 likes. That's awesome. Rena says, do I think I'd make more if I wasn't taking a passive approach? Yeah. So to me, I don't need to be the richest person in the world. I'd rather be the happiest person, or like enjoy, happy is a weird word. I'd rather enjoy life more than being the richest person. And $300 a day is $100,000 a year profit. You can live a really good life with that kind of money. And that was enough for me. And so I started focusing on YouTube. And I'll be honest, I make a decent amount of money from YouTube. I'm very happy with how much I make on YouTube as well. We're up to 61 likes. Thank you guys. How do you find out who can bring your vision product to life? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Can you repeat that, Patem? Joel, I love the creative part of Amazon selling. Dealing with Amazon is very frustrating for me, especially dealing with customers, which can do no wrong in Amazon's eyes. Yeah, dealing with customers on Amazon can be a bit of a pain. Tactical Aimer says, does the inventory auto refill? No, you have to talk to your manufacturer and you have to order more inventory. What is the best way to get people to your site for buying your product or to watch your YouTube channel? So the best way to get people to buy your product or to your YouTube channel is to have really great content. Now, obviously, I'm somewhat joking about that, but it's true. Because if you have a great product, then people that buy it will tell their friends about it, and other people will, it'll spread by word of mouth very, very strongly. And I think that's the best way to do it. As far as Amazon PPC is very powerful. On YouTube, doing collaborations or getting influencers. So other people have already built up influence. If you can collaborate with them, get on their YouTube channel, or maybe, get on their YouTube channel or on their Instagram or whatever. That's a really good way too. I haven't done enough collaborations. That's something I'm looking at. Awesome. Greg's already in the course. He's already doing the results purpose action tonight. That's amazing. I love when people are actually like taking action. So guys, I know a lot of you have already liked this video. I'm going to give it another minute or two. But if not, I got dinner with a friend of mine tonight. I'll keep this going for another 15 minutes if we can get it to the 70 likes. Otherwise, I'm going to cut it a little bit early, but I'm going to try to get in some more questions really quick. Idaho Long Range Hunter is asking if you should get a patent. I would need to know way more information. Stoyan said we can only one like Travis. Ah, that's true. I'm sorry. I think, yeah, that I need to figure out a better way to make sure people are engaged. But you're right. I do appreciate. We're up to 63 likes. So thank you, Stoyan, for that. I wonder, I don't know. Maybe there's another way. Maybe next time I could get people to leave comments in the, like on the actual video down below or something, whatever. But this is a way for me to see if there's new, fresh people watching as well. All right, let's get a few more questions in and then we'll wrap up. All right, should focus on competition. All right, everybody. I think we're going to wrap this up. Like I said, tonight is the last chance to join the Passion Product Formula for this round. And once it closes, I don't know when I'm going to reopen it. It might not be for a few months. So if you want to join, there's links in the description down below. Make sure to click those links. And if you want me to do these again, comment on my videos. Let me know on future videos that you want me to do more YouTube lives, and I'm happy to do it. But thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next live stream, or hopefully see you in the course. Bye, everybody.